Is Alexander Povetkin going to be Deontay Wilder's toughest opponent to date? Deontay Wilder said last week that Alexander Povetkin won't even be the toughest fight of his career so far. Deontay Wilder just says he wants to get his fight out the road and then gets on to bigger and better and tough fights against people like Tyson Fury, etc. The person obviously Deontay Wilder must be meaning is Bermane Stiverne. I mean, that's the only person you can actually really say is better than Alexander Povetkin. That must be who he's talking about. So let's compare Alexander Povetkin to Bermane Stiverne and see if Deontay Wilder is right. Is Alexander Povetkin not going to be the toughest fight of his career, or is Deontay Wilder just underestimating Alexander Povetkin greatly, and he's going to be in for a shock when the fight actually does happen? Whether he wins or loses, is it going to be a shock? So first, let's look at Bermane Stiverne. Let's look at his amateur record for a start. Bermane Stiverne's got a decent amateur record, 49 wins, 10 losses. It's decent, it's not massively impressive, but it's good. He's never won a gold medal in any major competition, like a world competition, an Olympic competition, Olympics, World, European, anything like that. He won something in Finland once, and he beat David Price and Robert Helenius. That's probably his two biggest achievements as an amateur. Now, comparing that to Alexander Povetkin, I mean, it's just night and day. Alexander Povetkin has a record of 125 wins with only 7 losses as an amateur. That's right up there with Wladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko. I mean, it really is that good, his amateur record. And he's a 4-time gold medalist as an amateur. He won the European Championship, gold medal twice, World Championship, gold medal once, Olympic Championship, gold medal once. All the major competitions he entered, he won a gold medal in a row. Not only that, the 7 people that did beat him as an amateur, he beat them all in rematches. So he avenged all his losses as an amateur, and he beat every single person that was around at his time at the amateur level. So, it's completely night and day from Bermane Stiverne. Stiverne didn't have as good an amateur record, didn't win any golds in any major competitions. Alexander Povetkin did. He was a top level amateur, just like the Klitschko's, Ali, Lennox Lewis, people like that. Maybe another thing people forget as well is Alexander Povetkin's a pretty good kickboxer as well. He was a World Junior Championship as a kickboxer, and he was a European champion as a kickboxer at the junior level as well. He went into boxing as he got older, but that's another thing to consider. Now, as a professional, Bermane Stiverne's record still isn't as good as Alexander Povetkin's. Just the record, not the resume here. The record for Bermane Stiverne is 25 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. When you look at Alexander Povetkin's record, it blows him out of the water again. 30 wins with only 1 loss, and that loss coming to the #1 fighter in the world at that time. A guy that had dominated for 11 years at heavyweight. So that was the only loss of his career. Now, resume as well. Yeah, Alexander Povetkin beat Chris Bird, who was #1 heavyweight in the world, Eddie Chambers, who was undefeated at that time, Ruslan Shagaev, Hazem Rahman, Manuel Char, Carlos Takman, Mike Perez, Mariusz Wok. He's fought a lot of big names that people know at heavyweight. He's got a really good resume as a heavyweight. Now you compare that to what Bermane Stiverne has achieved as a heavyweight, it kind of goes a bit like this. He lost to a guy called Demetrius King. Now, a lot of people won't know who this guy is. Well, he's a guy who's got a bummy record. 11 wins with 15 losses when he fought Bermane Stiverne, and he knocked out Bermane Stiverne in the 4th round. Bermane Stiverne then won some fights again, but then struggled with a guy for a majority draw, against Charles Davis. Now, Charles Davis was another guy with a record of 17 wins, 17 losses, so quite a bummy record again. A guy that you would recognise from his resume is a guy called Ray Austin. Now, he beat Ray Austin and stopped him in the 10th round, but Ray Austin at that time was 40 years old and was actually outboxing Bermane Stiverne at that time, up until he got stopped by Bermane Stiverne, who was actually outboxing him at 40 years old. Now, Ray Austin, if you haven't forgot, was a guy that fought Wladimir Klitschko when Wladimir Klitschko had a broken right hand. And Wladimir Klitschko fought him one-handed, dominated him, and knocked him out just using his single left hand. So he was outboxed by Ray Austin, but he did eventually knock out Ray Austin in that fight. Then he fought Chris Arreola, beat Chris Arreola twice, and in the second fight though, Chris Arreola was actually outboxing him until a stoppage in the 6th round. He obviously lost to Deontay Wilder after that. Then Bermane Stiverne went on to fight Derek Rossi, who was a guy that had 30 wins, 10 losses, knocked Bermane Stiverne down in the 1st round, and it was actually quite a close fight. I think it was 7 rounds to 3, I think, for Bermane Stiverne. So it wasn't an easy fight, even though the guy wasn't ranked in the top 50 as a heavyweight. So it really is night and day with Bermane Stiverne and Alexander Povetkin. Alexander Povetkin has a far better amateur record, actually won gold medals in major competitions as an amateur, has a very good resume as a professional, has a far better record as a professional. He's just achieved so much more in the sport than Bermane Stiverne. And there's no doubt, or there shouldn't be any doubt in anyone's mind, that Alexander Povetkin is just a far different class from Bermane Stiverne. I mean, that's quite obvious. If Deontay Wilder really does believe that Bermane Stiverne is going to be as easy a fight as Alexander Povetkin, he's going to be in for a shock. Whether he wins or loses, he's going to be in for a shock in this fight. I mean, Alexander Povetkin is the real deal. He's got the amateur pedigree behind him. He's got the experience behind him. He has power. He's going to give him a hell of a tough fight. So that's what I've got to say.